What's up, guys? Hopefully y'all can hear me. Just gonna finish up the last of this spinning I have right here, this leaf I laid down yesterday. And then we'll get into laying out some more of the silver leafing down the sides here, and I'll kind of show you how that's done. One more, let's see. Oh, one more right there. All right, it's looking good. So I kind of wanted to go over some of how I got it to this point, as far as the materials that I used and some of the stuff I did to get it to where it's at right now. So I did prep, and this was a bare metal tank. It's like a lowbrow tank. I prepped it, primed it, sanded it down. I painted it with black base coat, and I laid out the Limelight metal flake over the black base. If you haven't used this stuff before, it's nice because all the instructions are right there on the back. So this will mix with a pint of clear coat. You spray it over the black base coat, and then you hit it with 2 or 3 more coats of just regular clear to bury it down. That way, once it dries, you can sand it out. So that's exactly what I did. At one point, this was all silver metal flake. I laid out 2 different sizes of tape, 1/8 inch, and it looks like, did I use 16th here? Doesn't look like I used any 16th. So I just laid out the 1/8 inch tape on this one. And I mixed up House of Color, Tangerine, and Pagan Gold to get some of these different tones right here. This has been cleared a couple of different times and been sanded down, and I'm just adding a little bit to it by putting some silver leafing on there with a little bit of a spun look. So we're going to be using some of the other products we're going to be using is the new sprayable sizing glue from Limelight. Instructions, once again, are just right on the back. We mix this 50-50 with water because it is water soluble. And we'll be using this today. We'll also be using a couple of tools by Limelight. That a roller here helps roll it down, smooths it out, make sure you get in good contact with the adhesive, and then just a duster. This is a combo pack that you can buy on Amazon. You can also get the leaf, this leaf, the metal flake, and the tape on Amazon as well. So this is the leaf that we'll be using. I'll just go ahead and open that up real quick so you can see what this looks like. So this is a spinnable leaf. Now, not all leafing is spinnable, and I know this because I have a bunch of it that just doesn't spin. You know, I have, and you know, maybe on the other side of this we can show some other stuff that doesn't spin as well as this stuff right here. So let me open this package up. So this is spinnable leafing, automotive grade. They're cut in sheets of 3 by 5.5, and as you can see, there's 100 sheets in here. So we'll be laying that down on top of the adhesive once it's dry. It's really fast, so it's not going to take all day long like conventional leafing does. We're going to spray it out, and it's going to dry within minutes, and we're going to be able to lay this stuff out. And so yeah, I think we'll get right to it unless we have any questions. That's right off the bat, but we're going to lay out the tape, and I think what we're going to do here is we're going to metal leaf and spin these couple of areas on both sides right here.
So it looks like you do have a question.
Okay.
Someone's asking, what inner coat clear are you using for airbrushing? He says, I use House of Color Candy and you pull clear, but he's experiencing crazing from what he believes is a chemical reaction.
Yeah, the chemical reaction of, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to say that one. You use inner coat clear with the metal flake.
He's just asking, what inner coat clear do you use for airbrushing?
Right now I'm using Tamco, but you know, all inner coat clears are basically the same. I don't know why I don't know, maybe it's another problem that you're having. But yeah, I use Tamco. I'll use House of Color. So I'm just laying this out with the existing tape line that I had on there. Right, there's the outside done. This last line right here. All right, I'm gonna grab a razor blade. We're gonna have to trim the insides of these right here. We can go ahead and leave these things hanging off because we're just gonna mask that area.
Someone's asking if you paint cars.
No, I don't usually paint cars. I can, and I have before.
Someone asked, how long do I have to wait for the paint to cure before I can buff and polish and ceramic coat over it?
I'm not sure on the ceramic coating how long you have to wait. In order to cut and polish, though, I would wait like 24 hours, but it does depend on the clear that you're using. Some clears, I know Tamco has a brand that you can like cut and polish within an hour or 45 minutes or something like that. I'm going to lay some tape down to mask this off right here.
Someone's asking if you're going to be spraying a water-based for this project.
Water-based sizing glue. That's the only thing I'll be doing water-based in this.
Someone's asking if you do art as well, like paint on canvas, panels, personal art.
Yes, I have before. What I've found is there's really no money in it. I mean, if you like to do it because you love it, then do it. But I've had a hard time personally making a living. I've been painting Harleys for a while because it seems like the Harley crowd are willing to pay what it takes in order to get a paint job like this. I mean, no offense to the other motorcycle groups, but it just seems like the Harley people are used to paying the money. So, you know, they're not floored by getting a high price.
Just a lot of people jumping on saying Happy New Year.
Yeah, right on. Okay.
Someone's asking, what do you use for a coating inside the tank?
Personally, I take it down to a radiator shop that's local. But if I was to do it myself, I would use Pour 15. Has a product that you can put inside. Also, there's Cream. Never used it. But yeah, I mean, I've always taken it to a third party in order to have that done, because I've never really wanted to warranty anything like that.
I'm glad everyone can hear me loud and clear. I think we got it figured out. Babe, someone's asking, when will the glue be available to purchase?
The glue?
Yeah.
Oh, it's on now. You can get it right now. You can check. I think in the link in the description down there, you probably will see the Amazon link that's there. You can also buy it on the Limelight website as well. Yeah, all this stuff that I'm going to be using is available now. It just became available within the last couple of hours.
And someone's asking, is it just you in the shop or other painters and mechanics here?
It's just me. It's just me, and I have some friends that come down and work on their stuff. But no, this is not a mechanic shop. It's we customize bikes here, and I just do a lot of custom paint. I don't even tear the bikes apart. I'm not very good at turning a wrench, to be honest with you. Just been so involved with paint my whole life that I just don't even take people ask to take the motorcycle parts off of the bike and put them back on. It's just not for me. Just don't do it.
Someone says, how do you feel mentally after all these years of painting? Exhausted or more energetic about it?
I'm sorry, I missed that.
Someone asked, how do you feel mentally after all these years painting? Exhausted or more energetic about it?
Oh, that's what a great question. You know, sometimes I do get exhausted. I think it happens with a lot of stuff that people do, a lot of different professions. But you know what? I find I'm re-energized in learning new stuff. Like, I've only been doing leafing for like the last 6 months. I've only been doing it really good for like the last 4 months. So, I mean, since learning new stuff and adding to my skill, I feel like that kind of revives me in a way. But yeah, I get burnt out. I like to do video editing too, so I feel like having those outlets to be able to go to and not do paint all the time, that helps as well.
And then someone's asking, what would be a reason to coat the inside of the tank?
Yeah, in case there's some kind of a defect in the welds, it could leak out fuel. And then obviously the paint is not going to hold up to any kind of fuel that's leaking out of the tank. It's not going to hold that in. You'll have problems. It'll bubble up. If you ever have an aftermarket tank like this and the paint is bubbling up, there's a pretty good chance there's some kind of a seepage. So seal them up or have the customer seal them up. That's the best thing you can do. That way they're kind of responsible for it. All right, I got that masked up way better than I needed to, but we're not going to have any overspray.
Someone's asking if you've ever, have you ever Createx candy on your base?
What was that?
Someone's asking if have you ever used Createx candy on your base?
Oh, base coat? Yeah. No, I've never have, actually. I've always used it as like a color that's on top of the base. So I would so if I wanted to use really bright colors, I would paint it white with regular automotive base coat. And then I would use the Createx candies over the top, because it's really hard to match what those waterborne colors have. You know, I mean, they have so many colors in stock. It's crazy. So it's super nice to be able to use that on top. But for using it as a base coat, I haven't done it. I probably wouldn't do it. But would it work? I'm sure it would probably work.
Okay, then to follow up on that, sealing the tank, they said, so you don't have to do it with a factory tank?
No, don't seal a factory tank. It's already going to be, it's either going to be sealed or tested. Some of the Harley tanks, they come sealed already from the factory, and some are just, and most are actually raw metal. So yeah, don't even, if it's factory and it already has factory paint on it, don't even worry about it. They've figured it out for us. But these aftermarket tanks like this, you never know what you're going to get, you know, because they're only $120 or something. I need to put a Band-Aid on. I'm bleeding here. Or a glove. Here, let's see. Give me that glove. Okay, I'll better.
And someone else is saying,
hold on, I gotta get rid of this real quick.
Okay.
There we go. I don't know how I cut myself. Okay.
All right, then someone else is saying, if you didn't want to use metal flake, could you tape designs over base coat, or would you still clear and sand the tape and then tape?
I would, if you didn't want to use metal flake, you tape the designs over the base coat. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Even if you wanted to use like a smaller, like a metallic paint, yeah, it's gonna work. It's gonna work the same. You're not gonna have the bling. You could do it over a colored pigmented paint, sure.
And then someone said, getting the leaf turners, but don't know what leaf and where to get it.
The leaf's available on the Amazon link. It just, excuse me, it just barely became available. It's right here. It looks like this. 100 sheets are in there. We're going to be using that here in just a second, but this is also available. It is, so it's sprayable, and we're going to be spraying this right now, as a matter of fact. But we are going to follow the directions that come on the back. So we're going to reduce this mixture 50-50 with water. And the reason why we're doing this is because the thickness. We need to reduce it to make it spray smoothly so it's not pumping out huge droplets all over. If you are spraying this out of a minigun that's maybe like a 1.0 or something, you would use it straight out of the bottle, just like this. But in most cases, if you have an airbrush, that's what you're going to want to use, and mix it 50-50. You're going to end up with 4 ounces sprayable total with this. And then we'll lay out the leafing to show you. In fact, that's what we'll do. On the other side, I'm going to lay out, we're going to do the same thing, but I'm going to lay out a different leaf to show you what the heck's going on as far as the spinnability of the different brands of leaf. So I'm going to go ahead and just pop this open right here. Let me get a better head of this. All right, so we're roughly going to mix this 50-50 with water. We have water. We have water right here. There we go. There's the water. So now we mixed it with water. The consistency's much thinner, and it's going to lay out super smooth on this. And that's what we want. We're looking for a nice, smooth, even coat. All right, so I'm going to be using a Wada Eclipse. Let me see the model here. HPCS. Pretty sure it has a 1.35 tip in it. But any airbrush would probably work. For sure, it's going to work. If you find that it's not spraying the way you want it, either you have a dirty airbrush or you may need to reduce it a little more. So let's go ahead and fill this cup up. All right, you can see that spraying out. Really nice. Okay, so according to the directions, let's grab this bottle back here so we can take a look at it. According to the directions, what do? We reduced 50-50. We've sanded and cleaned the surface area. We're going to apply 2 to 3 light coats with an airbrush. That's what we got here. And glue is ready for leafing when tacky, but does not string up to the touch. So that's what you're checking for. You're not doing any kind of knuckle rub. We're not adding a bunch of material to this. We're just laying it down slow and smooth, not too wet. And within minutes, we're able to lay this leafing out. So we're going to go ahead and get to it.
You have some questions. Someone said, someone asked, are the bikes in the background your own personal bikes or customers? They love the bagger on the lower level, which I think is Rye's bike.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's either mine or my buddies. But no, there's no customers' bikes here.
Just his umpteen several bikes he has. Someone said, are you going to candy over the leaf?
On this one, I'm not going to. But yeah, I did on the last one. I definitely threw some blue candy over that. I loved it. All right, so I laid out the first layer to that. We'll give that just a second to dry. As you can see, I sprayed that on really light. I'm going to try to get us in a little bit closer. So we'll be able to see a little better. Let's see here. Okay, it's already ready for another coat. Like, we're spraying this pretty dang soft, you know. If you see it, you really have to keep an eye on it. If you see it starting to beat up, that means it's too wet. I'm staying back about, I don't know, I'm about 6 to 8 inches right now. And you see I'm just kind of going over the whole area, trying to make it even. I'm not up here all close trying to draw it in or anything like that. I'm just dusting it in. Not looking for it to get wet or anything like that. We're going to let that dry a little bit. I can already feel it's starting to get tacky. You can kind of hear it snap back a little bit. I'm going to wait just another second here. Do the final coat. Okay, that should do it. Got it pretty wet right there. Let me kind of see if I can zoom in where you can see. There we go. You see that? See, I got a little bit wet right there. It'll dry though. It'll dry smooth. So maybe that was a little wetter than it needed to be. As you can see, as that dries, that texture is starting to disappear. All right, there we go. And we're already ready. We're already ready to go. Sprayed this on pretty dry, so if it was wet, if you didn't have it all, you see it's a little bit sticky there, but it's not stringing up, and that's what we're looking for. You can always recoat this as well. So if you get going on it and the leaf doesn't seem to be working, then maybe add a little bit more, so you can always recoat it with another coat. Yeah, thanks for that super chat. I see that on there. Who was that? Appreciate that $20 there.
Mike from Soul Minded Creations.
Hell yeah, man. I appreciate that for sure. Okay, so we're good there. I'm going to pull out this leaf, and we're going to get right to it.
Someone's asking if the leaf is available in gold and silver.
It's just in silver right now, but it'll soon be gold. I'm trying to find the right manufacturer that has the right spin to it. So far, I haven't been happy with anything of the gold that I've come back. I have went through, and I can tell you this, I've went through numerous companies, tested a bunch of different leafings. Not all leafing is the same, and I know this. This is the best leaf that I have found, and I've searched for 6 months. Any possible way I was able to get a sample from a company, I did it, and went through a lot of stuff, and this is what I came up with. So I hope you guys like it as much as I do. We're wasting time here. We need to lay it down. We should already been doing it. We're gonna go ahead and pull out the first sheet right here. We're just gonna pat this down right here, right on the whole area. We're gonna leave everything masked up and everything. I know some people like to pull the masking. I prefer to do it all while the masking's on there, so it cleans up real nice.
Someone's asking if you've ever had problems with dust causing bumps in the leaf.
Yes, not since I've been spraying it on. I really haven't had a problem. I think that happens more when you brush it on rather than spraying it on. It seems to stay a lot cleaner.
Okay, let's see. Someone says, do you like the sprayable sizing glue over just brushing it on?
Yes, absolutely. That's the only way I do it.
Someone's asking if these methods that you're using, can it be used on carbon fiber?
Yes, I would imagine so. It could, yes. As long as you have some kind of a grit for the glue to stick to.
Then someone's asking if you recommend mixing pearl with clear coat or using an inner coat.
I would use an inner coat when it comes to pearls.
And then they're wondering if you're selling the leaf turner.
The leaf turner will be available within the next couple of weeks, actually. Grab another book of this right here.
Someone said, are you any chance you'll be getting copper?
You know, when it comes to a lot of the colors, I feel like you would just be able to use the silver leaf and candy over it to get the colors that you wanted. So you could definitely just use the silver and then throw a little bit of like a custom made copper candy over the top. So no, unless I find a copper that spins really good like this stuff, I don't see it happening.
And then someone says, how long do you wait for glue to set before you spin the leaf?
It was only a matter of a couple of minutes. All you got to do is just basically wait for it not to be stringy, which we were able just to go right to it, you know. The window is open pretty long on this stuff. I mean, it's been a few minutes now and we haven't had any problem with adhesion. I did miss a spot right here.
And someone asked, do you have to overlap each sheet?
Yeah, you want to overlap it for sure. Okay, we have that laid out. I'm going to use this roller tool right here. Y'all can see that. I'm going to use this basically just to roll out and smash down that leafing to make sure we're getting a good contact between the leaf and the sizing glue. And you know, I didn't lay this as perfect. Like if you look right here, I didn't lay that first piece as good as maybe I laid this one right here, you know. It's not going to matter. It doesn't look as good right now, but once we burnish it with the brush tool and spin it, it's going to look great.
Someone asked, do you paint the leaf with candy before or after clear coat?
I'll do it after clear coat. Generally, leafing needs a round of clear anyways. Before, I mean, you couldn't, well, you could, but I would never just leaf something and then go through one round of clear coat and be done with it, unless you plan on pinstriping it. That way, I feel like there's too thick of an edge. So yeah, I would wait for the next stage after clear coat and sand to lay out a candy color, but you don't have to.
See, I missed a couple of questions. Someone said, does Limelight deliver to the UK?
Eventually it'll be on Amazon in the UK, so just keep an eye out on that.
Then someone said, what about using, hopefully it's a bugler for the sizing?
Yeah, so a bugler for the pinstriping. I have one of those. And I can't use it. I have no idea how to use that thing.
You can't use it, you said?
Well, no, I can. I can't. Well, I should say I don't know how to use it.
Oh.
I haven't practiced enough to use it, and then I feel like it would just be easier just to learn with a brush. I'm better with a brush than I am with a bugler, so if I was to practice, it would be with a brush.
You're not a bugle boy.
Not a bugle boy. Back when I was, I think 11, I was a bugle boy though. All right, so I'm going to use this tool right here. The burnishing tool that will allow us to kind of brush away the excess that's on there, and it kind of helps push the leafing into the edges, so you get a nice crisp edge as well.
Logan's watching.
What up, Logan?
And then someone says, how did you get your name out to get all your customers?
Took a while. But, I basically I went online. Tried to find customers to ship me their parts, and it works. So go online, show people what you can do. Go on social media, tell them books are open, taking clients right now. That's what I would do. And then take a down payment. Always take a down payment. Schedule them in and do the work, man. And then you're in business. You just got to practice enough to get good enough to be able to sell what you do.
Logan said they're all watching.
Oh, God. That's all I need. Okay, this is turning out good, though. We're almost there. We're going to be able to pull off this mask and you can see. You see where I'm kind of just burnishing the edges in right there? That's where the overlap was. So we want to make sure that we're giving that enough of a rub down that it's going to blend into itself. You know, I really could have did this better because I have a little bit of a crease right there. But no big deal.
Someone said, how hard are you brushing?
Not. It's hard to answer that question. I'm brushing as hard as I need to. I mean, really, you can't brush too hard; just don't hit the metal. But I'm brushing pretty hard.
You better say hi to Asher. He said Logan says he's watching and he's very interested.
Asher, you watching, buddy? Okay, we're pulling the masking off of this. We're getting serious here now. So when I pull this tape, I'm going to be sure that I pull back on itself. Like, you don't want to pull it up this way because you don't want to rip any of the edges. So we want to try to keep this as clean as we can. So I'm pulling it back and to the side a little bit.
Somebody said he'd be scared to pull leaf off with the hard edge, with leaving the masking on.
This looks like it's doing a pretty good job right now, though. It's looking good. We'll go ahead and roll that one more time, but let's get this inside out as well. So I'm going to use this tape removal blade, also by Limelight, so that way we can get in here without risking to poking and damaging the existing paint that we have on there.
Someone said, how would you restart if you messed up laying down the leaf?
I would actually just lay out another layer of adhesive and leaf.
Someone said he watched his buddy lay out leaf, but they didn't use that roller press like you had, so maybe that was the issue.
Could be.
Pulled it up.
Probably the sizing glue would be the issue, but it could be either or. I've been trying to do leafing for seriously like my whole professional career, like 18, 19 years now. And every time I went back to it, it just never looked good enough to be able to sell it, because you'd either tear through it a little bit, or the sizing glue wouldn't be set up right. And there's too many variables with that. With this method, it's a lot more forgiving, and we're layering a lot less a product down. When you're brushing a product down, you're putting a lot. You're putting a lot in it. It can cause some problems, I feel, but especially with dirt specks, like somebody said earlier. I mean, the longer it stays there open and wet, the longer something has a chance to some debris to land in it and cause a problem. Because if you were to lay leaf over like a little speck of debris, you'd be able to see it.
Someone asked, do you find solvent sprays better from an airbrush versus water-based paints like Createx?
Yes, I would definitely 100% prefer solvent over water-based, for a number of different reasons. Main reason is because it does spray better. And the other reason is it dries faster. It takes forever for water-based to dry if you don't have a heat gun. I'm going to roll this out one more time. You can see how that flattens it out and kind of makes it all look uniform. All right, well, let's spin this. What do you guys think? Okay, this is a spinner. This particular spinner is from Spun Leaf. I do have seen some that are similar. They're actually made by him as well. They will be green, powder coated green. They will be offered in this size, and they will come with the 3000 grit and the 5000 grit sanding pads. And it also has this buffer right here. You can see that has a lot of give. Without that pad in the center, it doesn't give you any room to be off. Like, you have to seriously be straight down and turn. It gives you a little bit of give. Like if you were kind of sideways there, especially around this corner, it has enough give that when you spin, it's not going to rip the leaf. And to be honest with you, that's most of everybody's problem is, holler at me if you've had this problem. If you spin it, I mean, it looks great, you spin it, and you could see the tear marks. And it still happens. A lot of it's probably because the glue isn't dry enough, or could be a number of different reasons. But I really don't have that problem with this. So since I've been using these products and using this system, my leaf is sellable, and which is great. So you have any questions with that? But we're going to go ahead and start. You can pretty much start anywhere. I like to start on the edge and just move in one direction. And there you can see the spin marks starting to show up. And there we go. There's that one. And we're just shooting for a 50% overlap or whatever. I mean, it doesn't need to be 50%. You can do whatever you want. But I feel like it looks best if you still allow it for the center to be able to show still. So if you're going to overlap past the center right there. So we're going to lay the next one right over here. Overlap there. Another spin. We're just going to keep it going.
Someone asked, how did you feel when you finished your first silver leaf job that was good enough to sell?
I felt great about it. I felt like I actually finally accomplished something and that I've been working on so hard. I gave up many a times. I was like, I don't know how they leaf. These guys are leafing right and not tearing through. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure the whole time I was doing stuff wrong, and I just needed the right tools and the right products to be able to make it easier, that I didn't make those mistakes anymore. I feel like leafing is probably the hardest thing to do, in my personal opinion, when it comes to custom paint. But you know, I say that now, but now it's like the easiest thing, really. You know, we've made it easy now. You can also hook this thing into a drill, which works really good as well. I like to do it by hand.
Somebody says, what's the green roller tool called?
I'm not understanding that question.
That green roller that you use.
Oh.
It's the roll. Isn't it called the leaf rolling kit?
Yeah, it's a leaf rolling kit. Limelight.
Yeah, it comes in a kit. Someone says, have you used oil-based
Sizing glue?
Yep.
Yep. I can never get it to look right. That's looking pretty dang good. Should we do the other side? What do you say we do some other side with some different leafing? And
somebody earlier asked how you painted that, like the layers and the colors you use on that tank.
Yeah, you'll be able to watch this live again, and I kind of explained that. But I did use candy colors over metal flake.
Someone said, how about leafing a logo?
Absolutely, you could do that. That would look great. I mean, you just have to be patient with it. It's just like everything. You have to make sure that leafing's down on all the edges of the letters or the logo or whatever it is. And just take your time with it.
Someone said you should do a video on the material and things we need to make a crate to ship our paintable parts.
Yeah. You know, I just order a box from a local packing store is what I do. I order a double wall FOL, which I have no idea what that means. And I just get the size that I need to fit the parts with like 3 inches of room in between. And then I get Harbor Freight packing blankets, or what do you call them? I don't know if they're called packing blankets, but they're packing blankets. Like the blue ones or the black ones. Those are just about as cheap as like what bubble wrap is. So I ship in those. So I just wrap the parts up. Each one gets its own Harbor Freight blanket, and I use some stretch wrap to wrap them up, and then I kind of mock them up, and I get the box size, and I call it into the box company and tell them I want that double wall FOL box, and pick it up and pack them up, and that's it. That's all it really takes. Hope that helps. That was a lot, kind of long-winded for just talking about packing boxes.
Someone says, why would you choose 3,000 over 5,000 grit on spinning?
It would depend on your leaf. I was testing some gold leaf that just wouldn't spin good enough with the 5,000, that it needed the 3,000. But I think I have the 5,000 on there, if I'm not mistaken. You try them both. Both basically they do the same thing.
Someone says, if you spin it alternating directions, does it change the look, or do you think it would still just look the same?
I'm willing to bet it would look the same, But that is an interesting question. Maybe I'll do that one like this and see if there's a difference. I am going to use a different leaf, though. So we're going to compare a couple. You think I should? Or do you think I should just use the same stuff I've been using? Okay. I don't want to screw it up. I could just lay another round of adhesive over the top and just another. No, we'll just use the stuff we're using.
Somebody asked who makes the leaf rolling kit and where can it get it?
The turning kit? Oh, it's Limelight. You can get that on Limelight on Amazon or the Limelight website. I think it's only like $15 or something for both the brush and the roller. Yeah, I think I actually mixed a little bit of root beer brown in this as well. So I think there's a little bit of root beer, a little bit of red, and some gold. I never buy tangerine candy. I never buy green candy. Sometimes I'll buy purple candy because the mix is different when you try to mix your own purple candy. But yeah, like the reason why I just buy the primary colors is because you can mix a green just by mixing the gold and the blue together. And you can make an orange just by mixing the red and the gold together. So, I mean, there's really no reason to buy all those. So I don't, except for purple. Purple is different because when you mix red and blue together, it gets really dark. So if you're wanting a bright purple, buy the candy purple.
Someone said, is this a customer's bike or just a practice tank?
This is just a tank that we have hanging around the shop.
Then people are asking if they order Limelight, is that you?
Is it me? Yeah. Yeah, it's me. Yep. I test. So yeah, it's my brand. I've tested everything. Like I said, I spent the last 6 months testing different leaves, seeing what's better. Some are thinner, some are thicker. They all glue the same, you know, no difference there. But they don't all spin the same. Some don't spin at all. Some get more dull when you go to spin it. And it's a terrible feeling if you were to do that and you think you're almost finished and all you gotta do is spin it, but your leafing doesn't accept the spin because of, you know, whatever the material that it's made out of. You know, this is just imitation leaf. This isn't true silver leaf, because in my opinion, true silver leaf just could never get it to spin as good. You know, it will spin a little bit, like I said, but I feel like the imitation is where it's at, and the cost is much, much better. So you're getting more, and it works better. But yeah, it is me. It's everything that is Limelight. I've tested it, and I use here in the shop.
Someone's asking where you're located.
We're just outside of Salt Lake City in Utah. What up, Darren? Right on. Darren, I hope you're learning something. Come get some leaf. Come by tomorrow and grab some.
Somebody said, what got you into doing this style of paint?
I had a buddy a long time ago that kind of got me into it. He came from MMI, and it just started to get popular with those guys. And he's like, hey, have you seen this metal flake panel style leafing? And I had no idea what panel leafing even was. And this was probably This is probably a good 12 years ago. But yeah, that's when I first started. It wasn't pretty. I laid out craft store Flake, which puts way too much texture on. I didn't understand candies and how they work so well with metal Flake. So I just mainly used black that didn't blend very well, and I got all right for back then. I mean, it was good results. I was real proud of it. But to today's standards, I feel like a lot of artists have grown in the last 12 years. The whole industry has grown in the last few years. It's just, things have changed. So, but yeah, what I was happy with then is not exactly what I would be happy with now. But everybody has to start somewhere. So.
Somebody said that he wants to try the Limelight Packets. He likes how it sprays out of a normal spray gun.
Yes, that's the best part of that. And then if you follow the directions, like if you follow the directions, spraying it and putting it in clear coat rather than intercoat clear, you'll have a lot better luck as far as getting it all buried and getting the texture out.
Somebody said he purchased his first Iwata airbrush today after watching your videos. He said, thanks for the information and the inspiration.
Yeah, right on. First airbrush. I remember when I bought my first airbrush when I was 22 or something like that. All right. That looks like that's masked up good enough.
Someone said he lost 3 games of Rummikub because he's watching you. I love that game.
All right, we're back. We got the same mixture here, 50-50 loaded up of water and the sizing glue. Whoa, got a little crazy there. So just, once again, we're just laying it on smooth and soft. Wow. Is it New Year's in Germany or is it past?
I don't know. Ask him.
What time is it in Germany? Let's hear. I probably should have put a little more masking right there. Cross patch right there.
Someone says, what's your goals for 2022 for the Limelight and the brand?
Well, I'm hoping for 500% growth, but we'll see about that. That's my goal. I just want to add more items to the brand that I use, and just want to try to make things easier. I want to make things easier on me and everybody else that custom paints. And I feel like a lot of these companies nowadays, they're not painters. They really don't know. A lot of them are business people and chemists, but I've been doing this long enough to know that it's not easy, especially when you're not using the right products. 3:28 a.m. Wow.
Someone said, do you just do bikes or do you do cars? And then someone says, is it the same glue mix from before?
Yes, it is. I'm a little clogged up right here. I'm gonna have to actually clean this out because it's not spraying quite right. I'm gonna go ahead and test to make sure it's not too wet. No, it's feeling all right. It's coming out now.
Somebody said they ordered the U-Pull Clear. It had link that you had linked on another video, and he said in another paint group they had lots of complaints of it not lasting. Have you had any issues?
No. Well, you know what? Yeah, I mean, people will say that, but they're also layering on 2 to 3 coats. They're trying to do body work style, collision style paint work. And no, it's not a 2 or 3 coat clear coat. It's just not, it doesn't do it. But when we are layering multiple clear coats on top of each other and sanding, and the reason why we do this is because we need to smooth out edges. We need to bury candies, and there's a lot of stuff we have to do when it comes to custom paint. So if you're planning on doing 2 or 3 coats of U-Pull and having it last forever, yeah, it's not going to. If you're going to do 10 to 12 coats, 14 coats, I mean, I've never had a problem, and I've been using this stuff for 12 years, even longer than that. I think I've been using it ever since they really even came out, like here to Utah. But yeah, people, old timers especially, are going to complain. There's a lot of propaganda that goes along with paint companies and paint guns and other stuff like that that just are keeping the prices up. But you know, there's good clears out there. You can use a $400 clear, and it's going to look great too. You know, you can use a high build clear on it that's more expensive, and you're probably going to have problems because high build clear, I mean, we're not trying to high build everything. We're trying to do things in layers, and we're trying to be soft and not lay down and smash down a bunch of paint all at once, especially if it's not catalyzed or anything like that. That's why I like to layer and do sessions with regular catalyzed 2K clear coat. That way it's chemically hardened. You have less problems that way. It's going to link together better than if you were just to layer, you know, maybe binders or anything like that. But you know, you use what you like. That's what I say. And I like U-Pull. Sometimes I don't finish it off with U-Pull. I'll hit it with some Camco or something like that. But I have finished off with U-Pull, and you cannot tell a difference at all. I think this is the last coat already, so I'm gonna make sure I have it on there. Looks like a little bit right there.
Somebody asked if you can put the leftover glue back in the bottle.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, if you do that, just remember that your next mixture may not be 50-50 with water. But I'm gonna let that dry for a second, and I'm just gonna clean this out with water. That's all you really have to do in order to clean these airbrushes out when you're using this sizing glue. All right, it's getting pretty close. You can see right there, it's still just a little bit wet. But what you want to check for is the fact if it's stringy or not. If it strings up, if you have enough on there where it strings up, it's too wet. You're going to end up burying the sizing glue, and it's basically not going to dry. Or it's going to have a really hard time drying, and you're going to, when you go to spin it, it'll tear. But this stuff's easy. I mean, really, it's not stringing up. We're ready to go. We're ready to move on to leafing already. If this was regular brushed on oil-based sizing glue, you'd probably have a good 15 minutes minutes of a break right now, and then you would recheck it and see. You would also probably do a sample piece, and that way you can just test the timing. But that's not the case with this stuff.
Somebody said, is there a paint brand you prefer?
I like right now, yeah. So I like Tamco, I like House of Color, and I like Speedo Coat, and I like that's pretty much that's all I use. I use some urethane reducers by what is that company? But yeah, it's mostly House of Color, Speedo Coat, Tamco. So look how nice that one turned out. That laid out really smooth right there. A little bit of a crease, but that's not going to matter.
Somebody's asking, can you use Danny D crushed glass fine in the airbrush?
I wouldn't know the answer to that question.
Someone's asking if you ever use Createx.
Yeah. I used it right there. All those colors right there. That was done in, well, white base coat. Like we talked earlier, would I base the base coat in Createx? And no, I probably wouldn't. And I didn't in that case. I just white base coated with Speedo Coat. And to get all those colors and to be able to get them in the small quantities, Createx is perfect for that. And, use those cool flashy 80s style graphics with the Createx. Other than that, if I have the choice, I would go with a regular automotive base coat.
Someone's asking, I think they're asking on the shelf life on the glue, and then can you put the glue back in the different bottle and seal it?
Yeah, you could. Yeah, you definitely could. The shelf life on the glue, that is a good question. I would guess, I don't have the answer to that question. I wish I did. But yeah, I'm guessing it would be a few years or so.
Then someone says, can you spray the tape wet so we can see it string up?
Yeah, I can. I think I'll be able to do that. We'll see how good the camera works with that. All right, looks like that's all laid out. We're going to use the roller here again. Well, candies are going to fade. That's just the nature of the game with those. Bleeding, yes. Candies bleed. I wouldn't necessarily blame it on any manufacturer. It's just the nature of the beast. When you lay down candy and you go to clear it, you're going to want to make sure you don't hit it too hard or too fast, because the candy will soak up into the clear coat, and then clear coat automatically kind of just like moves around and it levels itself out. So what it'll do is it will soak up some of that candy color and level itself out, and drag that clear with it, or that color with it. So yeah, you just got to know how to deal with it. And that's you know, don't hammer it all on real quick when it comes to candies to prevent bleeding.
Someone says, is there an advantage to spraying on glue versus brushing it on?
Yeah, spraying it on is going to dry a lot faster. Brushing it on, you're going to add more material. It's going to take longer to dry. You're going to have a thicker paint edge, and there's more possibilities of getting debris that lays and settles out inside your glue. But yeah, that's some of the advantages I can tell you.
Someone says, have you ever used custom shop products? I have found I like their clear.
No, I haven't used their clear.
Then someone says they can't find the roller tool on Amazon.
It's under the leafing tools category. It should be with the rest of the stuff that I'm using. Yeah, you're gonna have to go to my affiliate link in order to find that. I think if you just try to type it into Amazon, I don't think you're gonna find it. It's too new.
Then Darren's asking, what does a brush that you're using do?
Yeah, I'm just taking off the excess leaf, like right here. You can see where there's a little bit of an overlap. Oh, it's hard to see with the glare on there. There we go. A little bit of an overlap there. So I'm just kind of brushing away what's not stuck there. And I'm actually doing two things. I'm kind of burnishing the leafing to kind of make it look uniform. Because where they overlap, you kind of want to get rid of that seam. You can see right here. Maybe we can get this close here. But yeah, we just work those seams in to get them to disappear. You can see how it's starting to disappear right there. And we're just giving it, basically we're just slightly scratching the surface to make it look uniform all the way through. You can see this right here where it's overlapped. We're just kind of dusting away the excess that kind of has overlapped. See right there, there's a bunch.
Somebody said, is that the glue you are working on getting? And are you going to link the glue or where I can find it? And do you got a link to the leaf?
Yeah, everything's linked down in the description on the Amazon link. So everything I'm using here is on the Amazon link. The leafing glue is the glue that you're thinking of that I've been testing for quite a while. You know, this is definitely a different kind of glue than what would be normal. You know, this is a water-based glue, if I'm right. You know, I'm no expert with leafing, but usually people use oil-based glue. I'm not sure of the brands or anything like that, but something fairly new. So it's on Amazon. It's also on the Limelight link that's down there as well.
The spinning tool's not there yet. Did you say when that will be released?
It'll be a couple of weeks. I think 2 to 3 weeks for the spinning tool. You can go to Spunleaf and grab yours. I think he has kits there for like around, I don't even know the price, but he does have kits there that you can buy. So if you look up Spunleaf on Instagram, you'll be able to find him. But basically, I'm getting the same stuff. It's just going to be green.
Somebody says, can they get Limelight products off Amazon to Canada?
Yes, you can.
And someone said, hi, I've got a half gallon of House of Color SG100 inner coat left from 4 years ago. Do you think it's still okay to use?
Wow. If it froze or if it got really cold, probably not. Best thing to do is to try it. Let me open it up and see if it's not a solid chunk. So yeah, even if it is like pretty thick, you could thin it out. I know my Tamco binder gets super thick, and I just pour more urethane reducer in there and thin it out.
Someone said, can they use their girlfriend's toothbrush to do that?
Just don't.
Don't put it back.
Just don't put it back. Or do put it back.
Then someone said, would the application be the same when using aluminum foil with embossing dye?
Probably, I would say yes. I don't know for sure. I've never done it. I think I would probably brush it on. I would use the same stuff that I'm using. I don't know. You could spray it on. I'm sure it'd be fine. But I don't know the answer to that question. I know that brushing it on works. No. Clear coat. I think he means to use clear coat for the sizing glue. But, yeah, there's no way. I don't think that would work. Use this blade again to make sure that I'm not pulling off any paint. Spot there. No, I roll it afterwards. Okay, so now we're going to roll it. Actually, we're going to brush that first because I really don't want to push all that over. If you roll it right now with those edges, it actually kind of presses that in there, and it's hard to get a clean line. So I do like to brush it just a little bit, and then I'll roll it.
Someone said, do you ever put the wife to work, or does she always just hide behind the camera?
Well, maybe somebody could talk her into it. No, she does stuff now. She does good. Okay, so now I got that kind of wiped away. I'm going to go ahead and roll it one more time.
Somebody says they still have the 63 in the back. And then somebody else asked, how long have you been doing this kind of painting and leafing?
I've only been doing the leafing for 6 months. And I've been doing custom painting for almost 20 years. Or 20 years, I don't know. Losing track now.
Someone else asked, have you sprayed oil-based glue out of an airbrush?
No. It'd probably work, though. It'd probably work, but you'd want to thin it out with reducer. Urethane reducer instead, I think. I don't know what you'd thin it out with. Maybe reducer. Whatever you would reduce the oil-based with, reduce it with that to thin it out. I know with the stuff that we're using now, it's just water. So I'm just kind of brushing these edges again. Sometimes it takes a little bit to get these to uniform out. But that's looking pretty good. I'll get this little edge right here.
Someone said, I joined late. Was there any prep before spraying on the glue?
No. No, the tank was already clean. It was clean and sanded with 600 grit is what I started with here. You can also go back and rewatch this live, and there'll be later on there'll be an edit that you'll be able to watch this in a matter of a couple of minutes rather than, I think we've been on here for over an hour now.
Unless you're an old school pinstriper, this method of leafing is going to be a game changer.
Yeah, I think so. It actually, this way of leafing has made it possible for me to even leaf. Like I said, I spent the last 19, 20 years trying to get a handle on it and couldn't do it. But as you can see, this way it's fast and easy. And I mean, I've been kind of slacking a little bit. I could have really busted this out in a matter of just, 20 minutes or so.
Someone asked, have you ever pulled clear off with your taping? If so, what might cause that?
Most likely you didn't sand it, maybe. You could be using products that you're not supposed to be using. Maybe you're using, I don't know, the wrong kind of primer, or maybe you didn't sand your primer. There could be a lot of different things. Maybe you didn't clean the parts enough. And there's some kind of, there's so many things that could cause it. I feel like you just don't worry about actually what caused it. Go back, fix it, build it back up what is the right way. And sometimes it just happens. Sometimes it's just the nature of the game. We're painting on tape, we're taping on paint over and over again, and we're breaking a lot of rules here, so it happens. So don't beat yourself up over it. Just fix the problem, and then make sure you're using the right materials and the right methods, and you'll be fine. But yeah, it does happen. So let's go ahead and lay out some engine turn on this guy.
Somebody's asking, what mild solvent degreaser or cleaner did you use for cleaning dry cured paint for Createx paints?
Say that one more time.
What mild solvent degreaser or cleaner did you use for cleaning the dry cured paint for the Createx paints?
I usually don't. After I paint, I don't know the answer to that question either. I don't use Createx enough. Really, I don't have to clean it after I spray it. You kind of just wipe it down. So, everything's usually pretty clean before you start painting, and you really don't need to put any kind of material on there. You definitely don't want to clean it with glass cleaner if you're using Createx. And you wouldn't want to really clean it with any kind of a degreaser either, because unless your hands are greasy, there's no need to really do that. It's already clean. So, yeah, that's the one thing about waterborne is you can't clean it with glass cleaner when you're done.
Someone said, how do you cut your circles in the 3,000 and 5,000 grits?
They come with the tool. They're already pre-cut, so they probably have some kind of machine that does it. But you can see it's a little over a 50% overlap, just leaving the center. You see how much of a difference that makes.
Somebody said, have you heard anything on materials cost going up more?
Yep. Everybody's.
And someone said your music edit videos are awesome. Definitely prefer these Q&A live though.
Oh, nice. Thanks. Appreciate that.
Somebody's asking, what are the big differences of how you leaf in this method compared to older styles of leaf and gold leaf?
This way it's faster. It's less material you're laying down. You got less of a paint edge right there. The nice thing is, here's the golden thing. If you mess up and it doesn't look good, like right now, I didn't pull all the tape off. at this point I would retape it if I had to do something. But if your leaf doesn't lay out good, or there's something wrong, or it doesn't spin good, you can always lay down more sizing glue on top of the existing leaf and just relief it. I've done it plenty of times. Sometimes I'll even layer it with 2 layers of leaf to make sure that I don't burn through when it goes to spin. So I'll be teaching a little bit more on that later on some other videos. I'll be doing a lot more videos on this technique because I feel like people just need to learn it, and I think a lot of people would benefit from some of these products that I've been using here. It does make it much easier, and you can see nice clean lines, really, really nice spins. Not all leaf is the same. And let me tell you, if you're going to pick up some other leaf off of Amazon, you are risking the fact that it may not spin as brilliant as this does right here. Some of them are really dull. Once you spin it, it actually dulls it up a little more. But all the samples that I've done and I've used, this by far has been the best leaf that I've used and that I've found. And that's why I decided to go with it. Easy to use, but we're about ready to wrap this up. So if anybody has any quick questions, just go ahead and throw them out right now. But I will, like I said, this will be, you'll be able to replay this live. You'll be able to go through all the questions that I've answered, and there will be a shorter edited version of everything I've done here in the next couple of days or so. But man, all 132 people of you that are still on here watching this, I really appreciate that. But I will give you another second. If you have any questions, just go ahead and ring in, and then if not, I'm going to get some close-ups here. Can you wipe it down with wax and grease remover? You know, you absolutely can. You absolutely can. I don't know why you would wipe it with wax and grease remover unless your hands were really dirty or you're eating chicken wings or something like that. You really wouldn't need wax and grease remover. I don't even use wax and grease remover after the initial stage of cleaning the tank or cleaning the part, unless you're running into some kind of a contaminant or some kind of a grease somewhere, or you're manhandling it like crazy. You know, that could be one of the reasons. But I would use glass cleaner right now is what I would do. Glass cleaner works just fine on top of this, and you're ready to go straight into clear. Just use a tack rag and go straight into clear after this. Somebody asked if we've been coming out, if we're coming out with clear coat. Nope, not coming out with clear coat anytime soon. Flake versus crushed glass. Crushed, they're both great. Flake is a little more user-friendly, sprays out of a 1.3 or bigger. You need a 1.7 or bigger with the crushed glass. It is going to lay out a little more texture, so it takes more clear coat to smooth it out. Overall, I feel like the glass has a little more bling because it is bigger sized. It is a different material, and it is a little bit brighter. But if you're paying for a customer, they're not going to notice the difference. Use the metal flake because it's going to be easier to use. It's going to cost you less money. Yeah, thanks, David. Hey, Herbie, Wolf. Clear right away or wait a day? You can wait a day. You can clear right away. Spinner comes from Spun Leaf on Instagram, but you'll see some lime lines, some green ones, spinners come out within the next couple of weeks on Amazon. So look for those. How much pressure? That's a good question. One of those things that's hard to really tell you how much pressure, but I'm not pressing too hard. Like I mentioned before, if you go to spin this, and if this is your first time, maybe not pull the tape off before you spin. That way, if you do tear through and maybe you spun too hard, you could always layer more adhesive on top of that and relief it right where you're at. You know, so I mean, you're good just to go and add another layer on that, and it's no problem. So maybe test that out first before you pull all the tape and spin it. Make sure your spins are looking good, and they're you're not getting any tears or anything. You have to look really close, because you know sometimes it'll just tear it just enough that when you get it to clear, it'll really show. So you want to make sure you're applying the right pressure, and just look at it really in detail. You could always spin. I guess the best answer to that question is you can spin it light. You can always spin it again too. You can't take a spin back if it's too heavy because you've already torn it. But you can always spin it too light and spin it again. I could go back and respin every one of these, and I'm not going to have any problem. So hopefully that answers that question. Yeah, you can use this technique on wood for sure. That's actually where it really came from. It's the gilding on woodworking and houses and frames and stuff like that. So yeah, this stuff will work great on wood for sure. It's porous. What adhesive did I use? Once again, I did use the sizing glue from Limelight, water-based, sprayed out of an airbrush. All the instructions there in the back. Here's the leafing I used as well. Premium spinnable leafing. There's 100 sheets in there. Here is the tape I used to tape it out. We have a spinner and a roller. There it is right there. And a roller. All those tools are available on Amazon, so you check that out. I just not want to stay on the table. There we go. And this spinner right here. Thanks, Rory. Thanks, guys. Okay, I think that's going to be it for today. Like I said, keep a lookout for the shorter videos of this, and I'll have more lives and stuff coming up pretty soon. But thanks for the support, everybody. I appreciate it.